Guys, all the cars that you see in these videos are for sale on my website, www.woodsandbarclay.com. Enjoy the video. And today I was going through the car, checking everything, and I noticed the hazard switch did not work. And so I went to check the fuse, and fuse number 2 was popped. And so I went back in the car because fuse 2 is the radio, the hazard switch, the trunk light, the vanity mirrors, the interior vanity mirror lights, the interior lights, and the antenna. So from working on previous cars, I know that sometimes these Hirschmann antennas can drain the batteries because they get internal shorts. So I was like, let me go to the trunk and unplug the antenna, replace the fuse, and see what happens. And sure enough, I unplugged the antenna, replaced the fuse, and everything came back to life. The clock is also on that circuit. And all of that stuff was working great. The interior lights, vanity mirrors, radio, clock, all of that came back to life. So I know immediately that there's a short in the original Hirschmann antenna. So today we're going to put that antenna on the bench and we're going to open it up and we're going to see what's going on with it. All right, here's our 85 antenna. And at first glance, it looks in amazing condition. Super, super nice condition. So let's open it up because these antennas have a circuit board in them, and that circuit board can sometimes go bad. So we're just going to go ahead and pop this open. I've already got it started. Okay, guys, that looks amazing. That is a super clean Hirschmann antenna. So I can't imagine what could be wrong with that. That looks incredible. So we're just going to pop out our circuit board and take a look at it. Let's pop this out, have a look at this board. The only thing I see, something looks like it could be going on right there. See, like it almost looks like a little burnt spot right there. And we're going to set that circuit board aside. And now we just want to test the motor to see if the motor is working okay. All right. Don't think it's our motor, guys. All right, let me just see if the antenna extends here. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that motor. Okay, we know that motor's fine. So what we're going to do, we have my 85 parts antenna right here with the exact same circuit board in it. Yeah, see on this one, I don't see that little burnt spot. I know you guys can't see that on camera. It's a little cleaner in that same area. Let's go ahead and set this guy back down in here. All right, we have just replaced that circuit board, and I bet you that's going to make our antenna work again. So let's get it back in the car and see what happens. All right, then we're going to just put our cover back down here. Like so. All right, perfect. Okay, I've removed the inner trunk liner, and this is where the antenna mounts. First, I want to show you guys back here. This car still has the original Cosmoline. See the this waxy stuff that is looks like goop all in here? That's where they sprayed the rust prevention wax down in there, Cosmoline, and it's still all back here. It looks amazing. They even have that's a little pad right there. So like the antenna doesn't like vibrate up against the side of the rear quarter. Here is where the sunroof cable retracts, and you can still see it still has the foam insulation on here. See all the bolts are still all cadmium plated. There's the sunroof motor. This is what they looked like when they left the factory. Absolutely amazing condition. all these little red clips, those are the clips that hold the trim piece onto the car. Just looks beautiful back here. So let's go ahead and I'll mount this antenna, and then we'll see if changing our circuit board resolved that antenna issue, popping the circuit. All right, guys, moment of truth. Good sign. The interior light is on. Before, when it was popping the circuit, that interior light would immediately blow when I hooked up the antenna. So let's just go to accessory, put our antenna up, and turn on the radio. And look at that. So we need to lubricate this antenna. See how it only came up halfway? So I need to go ahead and lubricate the antenna. Okay, I just pulled on the antenna a little bit, got it to come up higher. So what I'm gonna do now, take it back out of the car and remove the antenna mast. And I'll just replace this antenna mast because our antenna is now in good working condition. All right, we're back on the bench, and I'm just gonna hook up some 12 volt and run this antenna out of the housing. And we have this old antenna out of here. And we can see here's where the problem is. This joint right here has seized in place, probably just because it hasn't been up and down in so long. We see we can push it down, but right there, it's stuck. It's seized in place. So we need to put a new antenna mast in here. All right, so we have our new mast installed, and that works great. So let's go ahead and reassemble everything and get it back in the car, and we're going to be done with this Hirschmann antenna restoration. Okay, we have the circuit board replaced, we have the antenna mast replaced, and also went down to RBM of Atlanta, the Mercedes dealer, and got a brand new grommet here. So let's go see how this works. All right, I'll turn the key. Let's power on the radio. All right. Awesome. We have a working antenna. Let's turn off the radio. Boom. And there we go, guys. Restored Hirschmann antenna. And before we button everything back up, I want to check the manual controls. So you can see the antenna there. There you go. You see we're manually. Here, let's go outside the car. All right, you can see I've got it manually adjusted. So if I go up a little, we can manually raise it. See, now we're at like 3/4 mast. And now I've manually lowered it. Now we're back down, and we'll put it all the way down. There we go. So the manual operation works perfect too. Awesome. All right, got everything buttoned back up here in the trunk. And the previous antenna was causing the trunk light not to come on because there was a short and it was popping the fuse. Let's go check the other things. Now that fuse is obviously good. It was also causing the interior light not to work, and that is now working excellent. And the vanity mirrors. Now there's no cracking or anything up here. It's just amazing condition. Let's check this one over here. Perfect. Look at that. The springs in here are already worn out. Watch how it pops up. That's awesome. Sometimes the springs will get weak. That just pops right up there. All right. Okay, what I'm working on now, this panel right here, the glue had started to separate right there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this. Original fact, look how beautiful that is. That thing is like mint condition. But I'm going to glue it back to the backing plate and put it back Right there, it snaps on. And there's a little bonus. I pulled out the radio so to get that panel off, and we can see that this has already been restored by Becker. So that's a little added bonus. So let me glue this panel and get it back in here, and then we should be done with every little detail. Okay, we just snapped back in our wood panel. Looks fantastic. It's been re-glued to the backing plate. Perfect. So now we need to put the frame back in for the ashtray. And the cigarette lighter, actually Mercedes calls it a cigar lighter, because if you're driving a Mercedes, you're smoking cigars. And anyway, that plugs in right here. And then there's two screws, one there and one there. They go through these holes. So we're going to go ahead and screw that in here. Okay, so you see how this is screwed back in here, and it serves two purposes. You see there's a bezel right here that holds down the front side of your center wood console, and there's also a bezel along the top that bumps up to the bottom of the radio and secures that. It's actually three functions, and it also serves the function to hold in the ashtray. You can see there's a little contact right there, that little copper contact, and that makes contact right over here, and that gives power to the cigar lighter. So we'll put that in there, push that back down, and there we go. Looks perfect now. Perfect.